Hello again and welcome to Pearl Magazine. In Hong Kong, online scams hit an all-time high last year with losses surpassing $5 billion. As these scams have multiplied, so has the use of deepfakes to try to perpetrate them. Just recently, a victim of a deepfake video scam lost $200 million. I interviewed those in law enforcement and cybersecurity to find out more about the rising use of deepfakes and what can be done to deal with such scams. We are Andy Lau. Oh my gosh, so this is live deepfake real-time technology?
Yes, actually we are demonstrating the real-life deepfake technologies.
Recently, this type of deepfake technology was used to scam a multinational out of $200 million.
Nowadays, the general public, they can easily access to these kind of techniques in the open source videos, in the open source platform. They can use it in doing the deepfake videos, deepfake voice.
Superintendent Baron Chan of the Hong Kong Police Cybersecurity Bureau said the perpetrators took video of the company's top executives, which were available on YouTube, as they had posted online forums and lectures on the platform. Combined with a phishing email they sent to a staff member in the Hong Kong office disclosing a secret acquisition project of the company, the perpetrators requested a video conference with a staff member. To demonstrate the scam, Baron created a deepfake of himself and a colleague using video they had made previously.
That's why the victims in this video conference would really think that they are seeing the real person, because it looks like the same, the background are familiar, and so she trusts it. Despite the informant actually found it a little bit suspicious. And at the same time, because all the participants in the video conference were their boss. So that's why she would not challenge or really interrupt the conversation. So she could only believe it.
The case is still under investigation. Police figures show that overall technology crime went up from 22,000 cases in 2022 to 34,000 cases in 2023, with online investment scams more than doubling and costing victims a whopping $3.2 billion. Almost every day I receive messages from people saying they've seen deepfake ads with me in them. Today I've gotten 4 so far, and this is one of them. With an investment of just 2,000 Hong Kong dollars, according to John Lee. In the last several months, numerous deepfakes featuring top government officials and businessmen from Hong Kong have exploded on social media. In it, they are promoting an investment which is actually a scam.
The main purpose of using these kind of deepfake videos was to make use of the reputation or credibility of these kind of public figures so that they can lure the public to believe that there's some kind of investment schemes that they can trust. The Hong Kong citizens are still smart enough to distinguish whether this kind of bogus investment scheme is true or not.
Baron says people can report these fake videos to the police since they've partnered with social media platforms to combat these types of misinformation.
We will receive some report from the public figures saying that they found their deepfake videos. Whenever we found some deepfake videos or misinformation or scam pages, we will contact with the social media platform where the video was found. Usually the platform would carry out the takedown operations in a very short period of time, say a few days.
People can also report the videos through the platform as I did, but my reports came back unsuccessful, as Facebook responded that they didn't find the videos violated community standards and decided to leave them up. I reached out to Meta and this was their response. When we identify fake accounts or deceptive content or ads that violate our policies, we will remove them. They suggest using their in-app reporting tools so they can take action. When I was finally able to contact an actual person at Meta, they did take action to remove the deepfake video links I sent to them.
I would say the social media platform still can do things to improve the situation if they want to. Take another example, the pornographic material. Right now, there is a common understanding in that issue. You won't easily find that kind of material in the social media platform in Hong Kong. I think that is the thing the social media platform can do.
Professor Sam Lam Sun, a cybersecurity expert and associate vice president of Hong Kong College of Technology, says there is an algorithm to identify pornographic material. And similarly, this can be done for other types of material.
They have actually algorithm to do that. So I guess they can also have some algorithm to deal with the deepfake. But of course, that also implies cost. So I think the regulation and the legislation should play a role here.
Currently, Hong Kong is taking a wait-and-see approach, and these types of crimes have to rely on the existing laws of fraud, copyright, and defamation.
One thing is quite disappointing is that we still don't have cybersecurity-related law here. This kind of law need the collaboration among the different bureaus and the industry and other sectors to look at this as a whole.
Lawyer Winnie Wang says people do have legal recourse, but cost, identifying perpetrators, and recovering money are the three large stumbling blocks in online crime.
So the easy way, I would say, you can probably try filing a complaint with either the police if there is, fraudulent element in that, or you can file a complaint with the Privacy Commissioner as well. If, the image itself, we can prove that it has constitute personal data of yours.
Currently, there are laws in other countries, including in Europe, the US, and China, to deal with AI-related fake news. Winnie, Sam, and Baron all suggest Hong Kong follow the lead of these jurisdictions.
On the one hand, the government would want to promote investment, promote innovation, promote AI technologies. There are economic interests behind these investments, and then they do not want to stifle these innovation. But on the other hand, these deepfake or criminal activities is causing harm to the public interest to a certain extent. They also need to take into account the public interest in protection of freedom of expression, but in terms of some key issues like political opinions, health issues, I think Singapore has done something very similar.
Singapore has what is known as the fake news law, which criminalizes false statements related to the security of Singapore, public health, safety, finances, and elections. Globally, there was a 10 times increase between 2022 and 2023 in the number of deepfakes detected last year.
From our company, I give you a figure, we stop 8.5 billion of attacks every day, 8.5 billion attacks. And within it, around 1.5 million is something absolutely new we have never seen.
Wikifeng, whose company provides cybersecurity services to companies around the world, says the borderless element of cybercrime make it easy for criminals to collaborate.
They share the tools, they share the people's profile. So make the cost of launching attack is so low. With a few dollars, you can get launch a ransomware attack to a certain area, and they do not have a boundary control or boundary limitation. They don't need knowing each other's.
He adds that different regulations in different countries make it challenging for companies like his, as well as law enforcement.
In different countries, we have different regulation and policy control and data exchange control, or multinational, international companies. So sometimes it's tough for them to maintain the security level in one country and with the same level with the others because of the regulatory control.
Right now, the EU require platforms to declare AI use. In China, online platforms are heavily regulated.
It's also subject to a lot of criticisms as well because it's affecting freedom of expression, obviously. But then their measures are very effective. They are basically asking all the platform operators to label everything that's using AI. And if you do not label, you are obligated to take it down. So it's very effective, and fake news obviously is definitely not permitted at all.
Aside from having legal recourse, recovering money lost is one of the most difficult issues in online crime.
The money transfer or the online transaction is just one click, 1 second. So it is also our challenge to help the victims to recover the money. If the money is still in the bank account that we can trace, we could ask the bank to freeze the money. But most of the time, the money goes in 1 second.
In the meantime, police and cybersecurity experts remind people to guard their data, including face and voice, fact-check information, follow the "if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't" rule, and use available tools like the Scam Meter app, where users can double-check links, phone numbers, and even bank account details. Barron says since last year, any FPS transfers to questionable accounts will send the user a warning before they make a transfer so they can decide whether to go through or not.
After 3 months, we still find that some people, even though they receive the alert, they still carry on with the transaction.
For now, Hong Kong will have to wait and see what kinds of regulations might be introduced in the future to protect citizens from falling prey to criminals leveraging the latest technology. When we come back, the struggle of those who have to spend their time and effort to care for those sick and old. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. Being a caregiver is not an easy job. A recent study estimates that there are over 1 million caregivers in Hong Kong. The majority of them experience high levels of stress, with nearly half showing symptoms of depression. To address this issue, a local NGO has recently started recruiting retired volunteers to share the caregiving responsibility. Tina Zhang finds out if this approach is effective and if there is anything else we can do for the city's stressed caregivers. 67-year-old Ah Kam has been using a wheelchair for over 20 years.
I could walk a little with crutches at first, but not very far, so I used a wheelchair. The more I sat, the harder I could get back to walking.
Her husband, 71-year-old Aman, has been taking care of her for the past 2 decades.
At least 3 meals a day, buying groceries and cooking, laundry and house cleaning. I've had several surgeries in the past 2 years. After that, I could hardly move myself to the bed or chairs. I can't even go to the toilet by myself, so I have to have my husband help me. Even sometimes in the middle of the night, when I need to change diapers, I have to wake him up to help me. Any normal person wouldn't be able to bear seeing him doing this. To be honest, even if you work in a nursing home, it is only 8 hours a day. He can't rest 24 hours a day, even if he goes to buy groceries and leave me alone. He won't feel at ease. I was taking a bath one time and suddenly spitting blood, and it didn't stop for half an hour. I needed to call him back immediately and call an ambulance to go to the hospital.
According to a recent study conducted by a local NGO, nearly 47% of caregivers in Hong Kong provide care for 71 hours or more a week, far exceeding other countries or regions such as mainland China, the US, and the UK. In addition, the caregivers also reported the severity of their fatigue and stress.
Most of caregivers in Hong Kong, they are first-time care provider. They don't have any prior experience as a care providers. So it's very difficult for them to envision the actual duty and the tasks involving in caregiving. And also, this is particularly challenging for the people who are taking care of the elderly or disabled, because they may underestimate the effort and also the time required as a caregiving role.
Angie Chan has been working with the NGO for the past 2 years to find solutions to better support the city's caregivers.
The Hong Kong mindset is prevailing, influenced by the traditional Chinese culture. And then they may think the caregiving role should be primarily taken by the close family members, say their children or their spouse. So they seldom seek help from others because they confine this issue as a personal issue or family issue until the days they feel that very high pressures and then they can't bear anymore.
Over the years, we caregivers were like submarines. All of us had sunk to the bottom of the sea. Of course, the people being cared for are known to the society, but caregivers were all overlooked. Even if we call for help, no one would care. The one who answered the phone would tell you that they understood and that's it.
呢8個字啊，代表所有啲照顧者啦，燃燒自己，照亮別人。唔好意思啊。
Akam understands the pressure on her husband, so she has decided to put her name on the waiting list of the elderly home.
He's getting old and his physical strength is not as good. It won't last long if he doesn't have time to rest. If he is woken up in the middle of the night every time, he won't have much energy. After thinking about it, I applied. Of course, I don't want to go there, but sometimes you have no choice.
I heard that entering the elderly home is like sending someone to die. 9 out of 10 cases are like this. Life is unpredictable. I'm most worried about her twilight years. If she left before me, I'll feel relieved. Other people may think I was cursing her, but if I leave before her, she won't have anyone to rely on.
希望佢走先過我咯，咁佢好啲咯。
Yan Yi has been a frontline social worker for over 20 years.
The most important thing is whether there are support services in the community that can replace the caregiver so that he can get out. This is the most fundamental solution to the problems.
3 years ago, her organization started recruiting volunteers to provide home respite services for wheelchair users and their carers.
Each volunteer visit lasts for 3 hours. Their relationship is close. Volunteers will not change randomly. They meet more than once a month, at least 3 or 4 times. The current government service, I'm talking about home cleaning. If you want to use that, you have to wait for at least 6 months. Even if it's finally your turn, it'll be once a month and 45 minutes each time at most. Not much can be done in 45 minutes.
She says that at least 30 to 50 wheelchair users and their carers have benefited from the program so far, and it now engages over 25 volunteers. Most of them are retirees. Through this program, Akam and her husband successfully matched with a volunteer. Today, 65-year-old Ah Ling is visiting Akam's home to offer help.
For general housework, if she needs me, I will help her as much as I can. I will clean the kitchen and wipe it around. Sometimes I cook noodles and boil vegetables for her. I came here knowing that I'd be friends with wheelchair users. but I'm not very familiar with the caregivers. And I don't understand their hard work. If me coming here can give him a chance to take a break, that means a lot to me.
Once a week, Aman finally has some time of his own.
Now I'm in a better mood. Not like a little depressed before. It makes a difference. At least I don't feel that I'm trapped in the secret room now.
The couple have a son, but to Aman's surprise, he decided to move overseas.
I thought we would at least have a young person to take care of us when we get old. But one day, he told me that he wanted to move. It turned out that he was going to move to a foreign country.
A study estimates that Hong Kong now has some 86,000 elderly living with their families that need care, plus 120,000 chronically ill patients and 14,000 disabled people who are cared for by their family members at home. The number of caregivers in Hong Kong could be as high as over 1 million.
Even though the government have been provide huge resources for the caregiving support, still many people is on the waiting list for the services. The service provision will never meet the actual needs because it's majority needs.
Professor Hector Chung has been doing research on caregivers for nearly 20 years. He agrees that the government has to take a leading role in taking care of the caregivers, but also adds that other sectors can be more responsive.
We should be mobilizing the commercial partners and supermarkets when you are purchasing, making grocery shopping in a supermarket. And if you have a status of a caregiver, you may be given 20% discount. So I think it makes some difference, although the difference may not be too big, but it is a kind of recognition.
He also encourages employers to take more initiative.
Now, in the Western culture, they have a more understanding attitude. So if you have to take care of a bedridden parents, and if you are having a job, in an office, and they will be giving you flexi hours, and they will be giving you some allowance in Australia and also in UK, and they have a very clear set of law or act in terms of the provision and coordination of supports to be given to the caregivers. I think this is the way that we should be looking ahead.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.